The science of manifestation, explained by neuroscience opening what? If I told you that manifestation isn't magical thinking, it's a documented neurological process that happens whether you're aware of it or not. Your brain is manifesting your reality right now, not through cosmic energy or vibrational frequencies, but through measurable biological mechanisms that filter perception, direct attention, and shape behavior toward expected outcomes. This isn't law of attraction nonsense. This is hard science. Neuroscientists at Harvard, Stanford, and the Max Planck Institute have identified the exact brain systems responsible for what ancient practitioners called manifestation. Your reticular activating system, your basal ganglia, your prefrontal cortex. These aren't mystical concepts. They're physical structures that literally construct your experienced reality from the infinite data surrounding you. Here's what researchers discovered. Your brain receives 11 million bits of sensory information per second, but consciously processes only 40. The rest gets filtered out. What determines which 40 bits you experience? Your beliefs, expectations, and focus, the very elements manifestation teachers have discussed for centuries. Ancient Hermetic philosophers said, as within, so without. Buddhists spoke of mind preceding all phenomena. Modern neuroscience proves they were describing real neurological processes, just without MRI machines. I'm about to reveal 10 specific protocols that hijack these brain mechanisms intentionally. Each one leverages a different neural system that shapes your perceived and actual reality. Master these, and you're not practicing wishful thinking. You're applying cognitive neuroscience to bend probability in your favor. Your brain is already manifesting. Time to take control of what it creates. Part 1. The reticular priming protocol. You think you see reality objectively. You don't. You see what your brain expects to see, filtered through a structure called the reticular activating system. Neuroscientists have proven that your RAS acts as a spotlight, amplifying information relevant to your current goals while deleting everything else. Buy a red car. Suddenly you see red cars everywhere. They were always there. Your brain just started noticing them. This is technique number 1 out of 10, the reticular priming protocol. Every morning within 10 minutes of waking, write down 3 specific things you want to notice today. Not goals, observations. I will notice opportunities to connect with interesting people. I will spot 3 examples of abundance. Write them by hand. Read them aloud twice, then close the journal and begin your day. Your RAS takes its filtering instructions from recent, emotionally significant inputs. Morning priming exploits the heightened neuroplasticity of your waking brain. You're programming your attentional spotlight before the day's chaos drowns out intentional focus. What you prime yourself to notice, you'll encounter. Not because the universe responds, because your brain does. Start priming your RAS every morning and watch relevant opportunities materialize from what was always invisible. Noise. Part 2. The expectancy effect activation. Your SU. Beliefs about outcomes literally alter those outcomes. This isn't philosophy. It's documented in thousands of medical studies on placebos. Harvard researcher Ted Kapchuk proved that placebos work even when patients know they're taking sugar pills. The expectation of improvement triggers measurable physiological changes. Your brain releases endorphins, reduces inflammation, and modulates neurotransmitters based purely on anticipated outcomes. This is technique number 2 out of 10, the expectancy effect. Activation. Identify one specific outcome you want to manifest this month. Write a detailed first-person account of the moment you achieve it. Present tense, sensory-rich, emotionally vivid. Read this account every night immediately before sleep for 28 consecutive days. Your description must include physical sensations, emotional states, and environmental details. Your brain cannot reliably distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual memories. Repeated pre-sleep visualization exploits memory consolidation processes that occur during sleep. You're creating neural pathways identical to those formed by real experience. Elite athletes use this exact protocol. Their brains show the same activation patterns during mental rehearsal as during physical performance. Start writing your achievement narrative tonight and watch your behaviors unconsciously align toward making it real. Part 3. The confirmation bias leverage. You are constantly gathering evidence for what you already believe. Psychologists call this confirmation bias, your brain's tendency to notice, remember, and interpret information that confirms existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory data. Most people see this as a flaw to overcome. They're missing the opportunity. Confirmation bias is a manifestation engine you can deliberately redirect. This is technique number 3 out of 10. The confirmation bias. Leverage. Choose one empowering belief about yourself or your circumstances that currently feels untrue. Spend 90 seconds each evening actively searching for evidence that supports this belief. Document 3 pieces of evidence in writing, no matter how small. I'm becoming financially abundant might be evidenced by finding a quarter, receiving a compliment on your work, or noticing a sale. Your brain strengthens neural pathways through repetition and attention. By deliberately hunting for confirming evidence, you're hijacking your bias to build belief structures that serve you. The evidence was always there. You're training yourself to see it. What you look for, you find. What you find, you believe. What you believe, you become. Start collecting daily evidence for empowering beliefs and watch those beliefs solidify into unshakable convictions. Part. What the motor cortex rehearsal system, your brain plans actions through simulation. Before you reach for a cup, your motor cortex runs a predictive model of the movement. This happens automatically, unconsciously, thousands of times daily. Neuroscientist Giacomo Rizzolatti discovered mirror neurons, brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you imagine performing it. Mental rehearsal creates actual neural changes in motor pathways. This is technique. Number 4 out of 10, the motor cortex rehearsal. System. Identify one behavior that would move you toward your desired outcome. For 5 minutes daily, sit with eyes closed and mentally rehearse performing this behavior with extreme precision. Visualize your body moving through space, feel the muscle contractions, hear the environmental sounds, sense the emotional state. Repeat the mental sequence 10 times per session. Physical practice creates neural pathways. Mental practice creates nearly identical pathways at 70–80% the strength. You're literally building the neuromuscular maps required for successful action before you physically attempt it. Surgeons, musicians, and pilots all use this technique to accelerate skill acquisition and improve performance under pressure. Start rehearsing your target behaviors mentally and watch your physical execution improve as if you'd been practicing for weeks. Part 5. The semantic network priming. Your brain stores concepts in associative networks. The word ocean activates related concepts. Waves, salt, blue, vacation. This happens automatically in milliseconds, a process called spreading activation. Psychologists have proven that priming certain concepts influences subsequent thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without conscious awareness. Exposure to words related to elderly people makes subjects walk more slowly. Afterward. This is technique number 5 out of 10. The semantic network priming. Create a physical environment saturated with symbols, words, and images related to your desired reality. Place specific objects in your most used spaces, your desk, bathroom mirror, car dashboard, and phone wallpaper. Change these every 14 days to maintain novelty. Each prime should trigger an emotional response, not just cognitive recognition. Your semantic networks activate constantly based on environmental cues. Strategic priming keeps success-related concepts chronically accessible, influencing your unconscious decision-making throughout the day. You're creating an environment that thinks for you. Successful people naturally curate their environments this way. Vision boards work, but not for magical reasons. Start saturating your environment with strategic primes and watch your automatic thoughts shift toward opportunity and possibility. Part 6. The dopamine anticipation. Loop manifestation teachers tell you to feel the feelings of having it. Now, neuroscience explains why this actually works and why most people do it wrong. Your brain's dopamine system responds more strongly to anticipated rewards than to actual rewards. The neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky found that dopamine peaks during the expectation phase, creating motivation and focused attention. This is technique number 6 out of 10, the dopamine anticipation loop. Select one specific milestone on the path to your goal, not the final outcome, but a near-term indicator of progress. Visualize achieving this milestone with intense sensory detail for exactly 2 minutes daily. Crucially, keep the final outcome slightly uncertain. Your visualization should create eager anticipation, not premature satisfaction. Dopamine drives approach behavior and learning. Certain anticipation, I already have it, kills motivation. Uncertain anticipation, I'm moving toward it, sustains motivated action. You're engineering an optimal dopamine gradient that pulls you forward. This is why journey focus outperforms. Outcome focus for sustained effort and actual achievement. Start visualizing near-term progress markers with uncertain anticipation and watch your motivation become self-sustaining rather than fleeting. Part 7. The Identity. Restructuring method. Your brain has a self-concept, a neural network representing who you are. This network predicts your behavior, filters your perceptions, and maintains consistency through confirmation bias. Neuroscientist Michael Gazzaniga's research shows that your brain contains an interpreter module that constantly generates narratives explaining your behaviors. Change the narrative, and you change the neural network defining your identity. This is technique number 7 out of 10, the identity restructuring method. Write a detailed identity statement describing who you are as the person who has already manifested your desired outcome. Use present tense. I am someone who. Include character traits, behaviors, beliefs, and values. Read this aloud every morning for 60 seconds, then ask yourself, what would this person do today? Act on the first answer that emerges. Your brain maintains self-consistency through prediction and behavior. Identity statements create cognitive dissonance between current and claimed identity. Your brain resolves this dissonance by adjusting behaviors, perceptions, and memories to align with the more frequently reinforced narrative. You literally become what you consistently claim to be. Not through magic, through neural adaptation. Start declaring your achieved identity daily and watch your behaviors spontaneously align without forced willpower. Part 8. The probability collapse technique. Quantum manifestation. Teachers misunderstand quantum mechanics, but they accidentally stumbled onto something real. Decision theory and probability manipulation through action. Mathematician and decision theorist Leonard Savage proved that your actions change probability distributions of future outcomes. Every choice you make collapses multiple possible futures into one actual path. This is technique number 8 out of 10, the probability collapse technique. Identify 5 small actions that increase the probability of your desired outcome. Each must be completable in under 30 minutes. Every Monday, commit to completing all 5 actions that week, regardless of visible results. Track completion, not outcomes. After 12 consecutive weeks, analyze which actions correlate with progress. Your brain craves immediate feedback, leading to action aversion when results aren't visible. This protocol separates action from outcome, preventing premature abandonment of effective behaviors. You're manipulating probability through consistent micro-choices while your brain learns which actions actually move needles. Success isn't one giant leap. It's accumulated probability shifts from hundreds of small choices. Start collapsing probability distributions through weekly micro-actions and watch unlikely outcomes become inevitable through statistical accumulation. But by Part 9, the cognitive dissonance. Resolution. Your brain desperately seeks consistency between beliefs, actions, and outcomes. When inconsistency arises, psychologists call it cognitive dissonance, your brain experiences actual discomfort. Leon Festinger's groundbreaking research proved that people change beliefs to match behaviors more readily than changing behaviors to match beliefs. This counterintuitive mechanism is manifestation's secret weapon. This is technique number 9 out of 10. The cognitive dissonance resolution. Commit to one behavior completely inconsistent with your current self-concept, but consistent with your desired reality. Perform this behavior daily for 21 days regardless of belief. Example: if you see yourself as unlucky, give away something valuable each day. If you identify as poor, treat yourself to one small luxury daily. Repeated behavior creates pressure on your belief system. Your brain's interpreter module generates new narratives explaining why you're acting this way. I must be the kind of person who. The belief shifts to match the evidence of your repeated actions. This is called self-perception theory. You infer your beliefs from observing your own behavior. just as you infer others' beliefs from theirs. Start behaving as you're desired identity before believing it, and watch your beliefs reshape themselves to explain your actions. Part 10. The social reality. Anchoring your brain constructs reality partially through social consensus. What others believe about you influences your own self-concept more powerfully than you'd like to admit. Psychologist Robert Rosenthal demonstrated the Pygmalion effect. When teachers expected certain students to excel, those students did excel, regardless of actual ability. Expectation became reality through subtle behavioral changes. This is technique number 10 out of 10. The social reality anchoring. Identify 3 people who will consistently interact with your new identity as if it's already true. Brief them explicitly. I'm becoming X. I need you to treat me as if I already am X. Meet with each person weekly for 45 minutes. During these interactions, discuss your goals, progress, and challenges from the perspective of someone who has already achieved identity transformation. Your brain uses social feedback as reality testing. When others consistently reflect your desired identity back to you, your internal representation shifts to match external perception. You're creating a social reality that shapes your psychological reality. Successful transformations rarely happen in isolation. They require social scaffolding that reinforces the new identity until it becomes autonomous. Start recruiting identity witnesses and watch your self-concept solidify through reflected appraisal from trusted others. Closing. These 10 protocols aren't mystical practices. They're applied neuroscience targeting the specific brain mechanisms that construct your experienced reality. You're not attracting outcomes through cosmic vibrations. You're directing attention through reticular activation, creating neural pathways through mental rehearsal, leveraging confirmation bias to gather empowering evidence, priming semantic networks through environmental design, engineering optimal dopamine gradients through strategic anticipation, restructuring identity through narrative repetition, collapsing probability distributions through consistent microactions, resolving cognitive dissonance through behavior-first identity change, and anchoring transformation through social reality construction. Ancient manifestation traditions intuited these mechanisms through observation and practice. Modern neuroscience validates them through brain imaging and controlled experiments. The Hermetic principle of mentalism. Buddhist teachings on mind-created reality. Hindu concepts of sankalpa. They were all describing real neurological processes, just without the vocabulary of cognitive science. The reticular priming protocol shows you that attention creates reality. Expectancy effect. Activation proves beliefs generate outcomes. Confirmation bias. Leverage redirects your brain's evidence gathering. Motor cortex rehearsal builds neural pathways before physical practice. Semantic network priming automates success-oriented thinking. Dopamine anticipation loop sustains motivation through uncertainty. Identity restructuring rewrites your self-concept. Probability collapse technique manipulates futures through present actions. Cognitive dissonance. Resolution changes beliefs through behavior. Social reality. Anchoring solidifies transformation through reflected identity. Together, these methods form a complete neuroscience-based manifestation system. You're not hoping the universe will deliver. You're systematically rewiring the organ that creates your experience of reality. Your transformation doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It starts the moment you write your first reticular priming list. It starts when you read your achievement narrative before sleep tonight. It starts when you hunt for evidence supporting an empowering belief you don't yet fully hold. The version of you that has manifested your desired reality, confident, successful, aligned, isn't waiting in some distant future. That person exists as a potential neural configuration in your brain right now. These 10 techniques are the bridge between your current wiring and your optimal wiring. Your future self is waiting to be constructed, neuron by neuron, through deliberate practice.